There comes a point in every society when the mask slips and we are forced to reckon with the truth of who we are. Today feels like one of those moments. I'm reading about the Epstein files and all the political maneuvering around them, and I cannot shake the sickness that rises in my chest. The questions about who is implicated, the whisper campaigns about reputations, the strategists gaming out the fallout, all of it circles around the same obscene failure that we live in a country that cannot or will not protect its children. We live in a culture that treats the safety of young girls like a variable in some political equation. And while the powerful argue over redactions and timing and optics, the truth is sitting in plain sight that a child was not protected, that many children were not protected, and the people sworn to guard them were busy protecting themselves. And as these files spill out into the public square, I can already hear the excuses beginning to form in the mouths of men who have never known a consequence that they could not bribe their way out of. Some will claim a moment of weakness, some will mumble something about how the child was dressed. Someone will try to paint a child as complicit in her own exploitation. The script is old, the cowardice is older. It's all bullshit. Every last syllable of it. A child is a child is sacred, and a child deserves a world that is safe enough for them to grow inside of without fear of being hunted by those who have more power than decency. There should be no mercy for any person who preys on a child, no matter their political party or bank account or fame. There should be no quiet absolution for the ones who enabled it or looked the other way or brought silence with checks and threats. If this moment means anything, it has to mean that the powerful do not get to rewrite the truth to save themselves. It has to mean that a child's trauma is not a footnote to a scandal, but the center of the story. It has to mean that we finally choose to build a society where the children are kept close and safe because we understand the weight of what is taken from them when we fail. Childhood is supposed to be short, but it is also supposed to be holy. A small and sacred window where the world is wide and full of possibility, and no one has yet taught you to be afraid. When someone steals that, they do not commit a crime just against a single person. They commit a crime against the entire human story. They burn down something irreplaceable. They poison a future that never had the chance to bloom, and we have allowed it to happen again and again and again because too many politicians and donors and celebrities and executives have carved out an escape hatch for themselves so they can pretend that a child's pain is not their problem. But it is our problem. It has always been our problem. The measure of a country is not in its economy or its armies or its elections. The measure of a country is in how fiercely it protects the smallest and softest lives within it. Right now, our measure is failing. Right now, we are looking into a mirror and seeing the rot that we have allowed to grow beneath our institutions and our excuses and our worship of the powerful. I do not care who is named in those files. I do not care how famous they are or how wealthy they are or how many friends they have in Congress. If they harmed a child, they should face judgment that is swift and severe. If they enabled the harm, they should face the same. The only people who deserve protection in this story are the ones who were robbed of theirs. And somewhere in all of this, in the middle of the outrage and the grief, I still believe we can make a different choice. We can build a world where the innocence is not a commodity for the powerful to consume. We can build a world where children get to stay children for as long as they can. We can build a world where the safety of the vulnerable is not negotiable, but it starts with telling the truth. It starts with refusing to look away. It starts with saying that the humanity of a child is worth more than the reputation of any adult who betrayed them. Because this is not simply a scandal. This is not a headline. This is a wound in the soul of a nation that forgot what it owed its young. Every courtroom and every hearing and every redacted file is a reminder of what happens when the powerful decide that their comfort is more important than a child's future. And if we accept that, if we shrug and move on, then we become the next generation of bystanders who choose silence over courage. So here's the line. Here's the moment where we stop pretending we cannot see the darkness in our own house. Every name that deserves exposure should be exposed. Every person who harmed a child should face judgment that is swift and uncompromising. and every institution that enabled it should be stripped bare until there is nowhere left for the rot to hide. A country that cannot protect its children cannot claim to be moral. A people who cannot defend the innocent cannot claim to be good. But we are still capable of being both. The door to redemption is narrow, but it is not closed. It requires honesty. It requires consequence. It requires the courage to say that a child's life is worth defending at all cost. If we mean anything at all when we talk about justice or decency or the future, then this is where we stand. This is the ground we defend. No more hiding or excuses. No more looking away. Let the truth come out. Let the guilty face what they did, and let every child who was hurt know that their country finally chose them. Defiance till death.